Hi, my name's Audree Grubesic, and we are on Offsite Dirt talking about high performance build. We have a brand new contributor from the UK. Adam White with Intelligent Membranes is going to be our new contributor. We're talking about things that are going on overseas. We're going to talk about his background, improvements, passive house building standards, and it's all here on Offsite Dirt. So, Adam, welcome to the team. We're so happy you're with us.
Well, thanks for having me to start with. The first person from the UK to join Offsite Dirt, so I'm proud about that. So that's
We
good.
are too. We are too. We're so proud to have you on our team. I want to kind of jump in to your background. How did you start in building? And then really tell us a little bit more about your passion with Passive House.
So my journey started 25 years ago as a plumber, actually, which quickly turned into carpentry after a week when I realised that I hated plumbing, so I didn't want nothing to do with it. And yeah, 25 years of carpentry. Over that time, I've managed to expand. I grew a timber frame manufacturing company where I got to try out loads of different types of timber frame systems, twin build, twin wall, you name it, we've done it. And then about 8 years ago, I run into Passive House. I run into it like a brick wall. One day I had an argument with an architect who told me I didn't know anything because he was Passive House certified and I wasn't. So 2 months later, or nearly 3 months later, I was a Passive House designer because I went on the course and learned about Passive House. And that started me off on my journey into Passive House and where we are today, really, with the growth around us.
It's amazing. That's quite the journey too. I love that we're very similar. We kind of dig into what we want to do. I love that you are a plumber because I think it gives you perspective on the whole MEPs, the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. It's one thing you'll never forget, and those are the things that we build with. And then you move into timber frame, which again is a whole nother skill set in carpentry. And now we land at Passive House. So when we're talking about Passive House in the UK, I feel like it could be a little bit different than what we're seeing in the United States. Are there building standards, or are those standards the same that you're seeing in the US? Because I know you have businesses here in the US. Compared to what you're seeing in the UK? Is there a big difference? And what are these standards?
I think the big difference from the UK to America, and this is nothing from the USA, your normal building standards are not the highest quality already. So you are taking a bigger leap than what we are in the UK. We're not building the best in the UK, but we're not building as quite as low as what the American standards are, especially with some of the timber frame companies. There's so many good companies in America. Don't let that be a dig to them. But the standards are, there is a big jump and a big divide, but it's great. America is coming in hot and fast. That's why we're being quite really successful in the States with our products, with our liquid applied membranes that are coming around. But yeah, with the Passive House movement in the UK, it's coming in hard and fast. And if you're not on the Passive House train, the net zero comfort house train, your company's going to be dead within 5 years because everyone wants it. The world needs it. It's just getting the builders and contractors up to speed. That is probably one of the biggest problems we have at the minute in the UK and America, and that's actually teaching people and teaching them something they want to learn.
I think it's wonderful that people in the UK are expecting it, and it's an expectation that, hey, I want a comfortable home. I want a home that lives and breathes well. We're creating these standards, and I do appreciate, and I know we are not looking to offend anybody in any countries. We are simply learning and building, and we're trying to design and do things differently and help more people to live in healthy homes. And I know that's really where you're coming from. I know that's where your heart is. So when we're looking at standards, we have so many programs right now in high performance build about the expectations, about the benefits, about all the things that why people should consider this type of program. But in your eyes and what you're seeing maybe in both countries, in the UK and in the US, what are you seeing as some of the improvements we need to be aware of right now?
The improvements would have to, it would have to go back to the training and the way we're coming across with the training with people. We need to understand that a passive house window is a window that needs to be installed. Now, not everyone wants to know what the U value or the G value of that window is. 99% of people just don't care. I care about it because I like that stuff, but most of your builders and contractors, they don't get a window and go, oh, what's that U value? God, I really like that. They don't want to know, and they don't want to know how to work that U value out. So I think that's where we need to come down a bit, not come down a bit, but change our views. So we have a view that we have all the techie people up here and we have the builders down here. Well, actually, it needs to be here, or not, if not here, because these are the guys that are installing it. These are the guys that we rely on to do the job correctly. Because you can have the best window in the world, but if you can't install it right and use the right components and the right methods of doing it, it's useless. So that's where I think we need to do. We need to come back down and build some training courses done by builders for builders. That's where I think improvement needs to be done in the industry.
So when you were going through your training and you were learning this 8 years ago, has it been the same similar things that you're doing now in building, or has there been a big leap between those 8 years in the standards?
The standards that we were being taught then are the same. I think there's every day something new's coming out. There's no way you can do a course and say you're qualified in passive house, a tradesperson course, you're a passive house tradesperson. Every day is a school day in this industry. We learn something week on, day in. Even today, I would have learned something that I didn't know before. So we need to have that mindset as well, because if we don't make ourselves open to learning, we will fall behind. That's another problem we have. We think we know it all when we don't.
So passive house building standards, let's talk about them. So it's about indoor air quality. It's about making sure that you have the right sealants around windows, making sure that you are using like the blower door test to make sure that air is not escaping and energy is being conserved. What other things am I missing here, Adam?
Well, it's making sure that we're looking at the core of what the building is, so that the building as a whole, so the envelope of the building, the insulation, the windows, the ventilation, all of that side of things, and then we can look at all the technology that powers it. We have a big problem, another big problem in this industry, where we go, oh, we need solar, we need air source heat pump, we need this, we need that, but no, they forget about the building. We look at the building first, we make it as good as we can afford, and then we add the electric and the stuff to power it. Because otherwise, we're using all this technology to power our underperforming building.
So it's all about performance, right? How can we build a high performance house and conserve energy and to make it healthy? And so I think it's fascinating because when I had the opportunity to meet you in person, which was in Chicago about a year ago, we were talking about intelligent membranes, and I wanted to run that interview, but unfortunately there was so much sound and there were so many things going on because they kept having the PA going and people were introducing things. So it was really difficult. I'd love to just shift because I think it's interesting. You've had this amazing career in building. You went into timber frame. Now you go into passive house. You're evaluating homes. You're looking at them. You're figuring how can we build this to be a better performing house? And then you get into intelligent membranes. What is that?
So it's everything liquid applied. So it's everything in the construction industry just liquefied. So if you take your traditional tapes and membranes, your Tyvek wind membranes or your air tightness membranes, we have the liquid version for them, down to the waterproofing as well. So any aspect of that building, we will have a liquid version for it.
I think that's pretty genius to come in with something that is liquid. How have the applications and being able to apply the product onto the homes and different things, how has that performance been for you in the UK?
To start with, really hard to get it off the ground. It has been a hard journey. Don't believe everything you see on LinkedIn. Yeah, I mean, early doors, you've had every door slammed in your face. No one wants to know about Passive House. No one wants to spend that little bit of extra money. No one really cares about the air test, and this is just being honest. A lot of the air tests are questionable in the UK as well sometimes. And they didn't feel they needed to do it. But over the last 2 years, everyone's woken up. The councils, the local governments are like, well, actually, our buildings need to be Passive House. Our affordable housing needs to be Passive House. We need to be looking after these tenants. We can't just build a house that they can't afford the electric and the gas in. Well, try and get rid of the gas. But it needs to be affordable, but then the comfort side of it as well. A lot of us are doing it for comfort, our own comfort of living as well.
So let's talk through this product. Let's just talk about your application. So it's in a liquid membrane, and you were saying you could use it instead of Tyvek, which is the outside covering of a building. And you're able to apply this by a roller, is that correct? Or how does it get applied?
Okay, so there's two versions of the
Okay,
most
good. Tell me.
products.
Explain both.
Yeah, I'll explain. Sorry. So I've got Passive Purple. Passive Purple is the world famous one that everyone knows. So it's bright purple in color. Now that goes on the warm side of the insulation, on the inside of your timber frame, blockwork wall, restoration building, whatever it is. And that's your airtight membrane. So that controls the moisture, stopping it going through the building and keeping the inside airtight. Then we have the not so new now, but Passive Purple external, and that's the one that replaces the Tyvek. So that's the breathable membrane. And when we say breathable, we mean moisture management. We don't mean breathing in and out like we are now. Because an exterior facade membrane needs to breathe. It needs to let the moisture out of the building, but be watertight, keep everything dry.
Amazing. So you're like this, you're this man of all these different trades. When you started, what actually brought you into creating a product like this? I'm just curious.
I found a very clever man who does it for me. Every business will tell you the same. We're nothing without the team behind us and the people we meet. I am just like one cog of a big wheel behind me and a team in my office that I play hot potato. I do it, throw it, and the rest of the team do it. So don't think, oh, Adam's doing everything. I'm not. I literally get my bum wiped for me sometimes. So yeah, it is. It's very clever people, and yeah, I can't take that accolade, I'm afraid.
So do you feel, so right now you're distributing this product and it's only in the UK. Is there future, or is it in different countries? Where is it?
No, it's
Where
in
is it
6
distributed?
countries, yeah. So we have it in LA at the minute. We have product in New York. We have more containers on the water now going to New York. Yeah, Canada. We're shipping to Canada, Australia, Italy, France, Switzerland, Mexico.
Wow, it's really
we've spent a lot on certification as well, a lot of our time.
That was what I was going to ask you about. So certification, let's walk through that. How did that whole process go? And is there data sheets, and like how do you provide this information to the end user?
So a lot of it's all on our website anyway, so you can download it. But every time we go into new different countries, so say the US, we have to have the ICC. Everything needs to be ASTM testing instead of EN testing. They're near enough the same thing, but English Americans, they need to get together, really. Save me a lot of money and heartache and time. But no, we're coming out the back end of all of that now. So all of our products, touch wood, if there's some about, in a couple of weeks, we'll be all signed off anyway. And we've joined a lot of good associations, like the ABAA in America, the Air Barrier Association, and then the stuff we do in Australia, all of that's got independent testing for over them, and the UK and France as well. So Yeah, no, but it's good. Every time we go somewhere, you do actually learn a little bit more about your product and what it can actually do. And you can add a little bit more to it and say, oh, it can do this, it can do that, which is actually really good.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing because you're solving a problem and you're making it easier for a product to be the application of the product, right? And everybody wants ease and everybody wants to be able to not have to be carrying everything around to be able to do it, right? You have the product there, you're able to apply it, and you've got the data behind it, and you've already got the inspected right documentation for it. So it's great to see this big exploration. Are there some markets right now that you're seeing a big need for? Is there ones that are asking more of the demand for it, or has it just been very easy kind of moving forward?
You get jumps in different areas for different products, and it's weird to see that this area will take one product and this will take another one. LA is actually a window protection product that we have. So it's a recycled spray-on protection product for brand new windows, aluminium windows. You spray the window when it's installed, leave it for a year while the job site's going on, then peel it off and you've got a brand new window. So it protects the client and all of the delays and all of that, so the job can get signed off. So that's doing extremely well over there. And again, in the UK, it's doing extremely well over there. So over here even. Yeah, and then waterproofing in different areas, every day there's
All
something
about keeping the water out, right?
yeah. So
Keeping the water out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Every day is a new one with different requests for different products. People see, and then that's another thing. Someone else will go, "Oh, can your product do this or be used in this area?" And you're like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that." Have a bit of research. Yes, it can do it, and let's get some tests. Let's get some adhesion tests on it. So yeah.
That's very cool. So on your product, you know, when I was doing homes, we always put a coating on the foundation walls to keep the moisture out. Can you use this product on foundation walls?
No, but we have another product that we've just brought out called the Goat. We brought it out last month. So yeah, the greatest of all time. And it's waterproofing. It's waterproof within 12 seconds of us putting it down. It's a reactive product. And then within a day, it's completely dry, and you can work on it and walk on it, whatever you need to do. So yeah, we have a waterproofing. We have 2 waterproofing products actually. All of our products are liquid based, VOC free, non-nasties as well. So you won't find any nasty chemicals in ours. And we're just going through all the Declare stuff in America as well. So we'll have all that certification.
I think that's wonderful. We interviewed Source 2050. Do you know those guys?
We know those guys. We've been working with them. We've been working on detailing. Our products are on their website actually, which is good. That's why we've got a lot of product going to New York. So just to look after them on their stuff. But yeah, we're working closely with them, with Michael, on detailing, on all the structures and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of the people that may not know, Source 2050 is a marketplace. It's an online service where you can build to different certifications. So you can build to Passive House, you can do LEED, and it's all about high performance. It's about building better buildings and using and utilizing their marketplace for these products, which I think is brilliant, right? That, you know, I mean, when you started in this journey, how easy was it to find all the products to be able to service a good enclosure? How easy was that, Adam?
Extremely hard. And if someone back then said, "Oh look, here it is. Here is my shopping list. It's got all of the prices. It's got every single product." That's what Source 2050 is. It's a shopping list for the architect that's designing, pulls it over, and that's it. When it goes to the GCs, they've got everything there. They don't have to go around looking around. They know they've got the best deal on the products already. They can order it one single place. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I think it's going to really take off. And I think we should be doing that in the UK. Actually, having a company do that, the bigger merchants should be doing that. Just saying, look, here's all the products. Here's a one big container. There you go.
I agree, because you and I both know from everything that you've learned and you've studied and you've been trained in, it's an evolving process. And it's also an evolving understanding of finding product that can be certified. Not to mention, I think the bigger thing is, like you were talking about, no VOCs or these toxins that people are breathing, or these other chemicals that are being produced in these products that are making us sick. That's a big deal. And so being able to have a service provider like them, it was a really, really great interview. So let's talk about some of the projects that you're working on now. Are you mostly staying in the consumer or the building side with the material products, or what other kind of companies or what other journeys are you on right now? Because you have your hands in lots of different things.
Yeah, so I have two main companies that I have. I have White House Bespoke Timber Frame. We call it bespoke timber frame, but we do anything from timber frames to full turnkey bespoke projects. We're quite fortunate on that side of things because I am quite vocal on how we want to do things. We get a lot of clients come to us and we get nice projects. And it can, like I say, sometimes it's just a timber frame. Sometimes it's half turnkey, where we do the windows and all the air tightness, mechanical ventilation. And then other times we get to do the whole thing from start to finish. So we've got a few of them projects coming up next year, where I've been able to talk to the client and say, look, let's build Passive House standard. Let me take this project on. So we've got a 23 unit development starting in January.
Wow.
That'll be really good for the White House team on that. And then we've got quite a few half turnkey projects as well.
So are they most residential, or are you getting into commercial too, or do you do both?
We do both. I tend not to do the high rise blocks of flats anymore, because that's a more volumetric company. That's not what we are. We have a little chicken shed as a timber frame manufacturing. I'm not for the machinery personally. I need to be training the people and the site people. Not saying that's a bad thing, because the offsite world needs the machinery, but for me as a bespoke person, it just wouldn't suit. So yeah, I don't want to upset too many people.
I love how you call it. Why is it called the bespoke? What does that mean? I'm missing what that terminology means. What is that?
Bespoke.
Just a spoke, like it's just
bespoke. It's something new. So if someone comes to me and say, oh, I want 4 houses and they're just square boxes, there's nothing interesting, I won't do it.
Okay.
If there's something quirky with it, and they say, oh, Adam, you can have your twist on it. I'm all over that.
So you really like to be creative. You are like the creative mastermind. Like, you can't do anything that's just simple.
No, it has to be good. One of our last projects was for West Midlands Safari in the UK. So you go and stay with giraffes and rhinos and elephants. I mean, units built for them, 14 units in the end. So we call them cabins, but they were full blown houses. So I was a main contractor on that. I loved it, going into work, trying to get past rhinos, giraffes. Literally, I'm in my car and these giraffes are sticking their head in my car window, and I'm trying to go through the gate of the entrance. It was just madness, but that's what we love. That's
magical. Did you get to take your children or your family to see that? Because it sounds outstanding.
It was outstanding, but at the end of the 9 months, it lost its magic a bit. You see it every day, you're like, oh, just get out of the way. Yeah, and going around for 2-3 hours in a car park looking at them is, I've looked at them for 9 months.
Sounds amazing. What other cool projects have you done?
We work a lot with the Forestry Commission, for a company called Forest Holidays. We do all their cabins in luxury places around the UK, heart deep in the forests. That's pretty cool. We've done quite a few of them. Big one in Manchester, Wales, Scotland, Snowdonia. We've got quite a few projects on for them. Bought into beer companies. Something a bit different. So yeah, part of a brewery in Cambridgeshire called Brewboard. So that's another fun thing to do. So it's just we just love to have fun, like within the group that we are. So we're in the heart of Cambridgeshire. We've got 38 acres here. We've got loads of wild animals. We've got the pub that we're sat in, and we're just about to put we're just about to put planning permission in for a bigger version of this training facility. So a 650 square metre building where we can do our R&D and train more people, because we're finding we're having groups of 30, 40 people down here and it's filling up quite quick. So we need to have larger groups.
That's interesting. So training, are you doing training for your company? Are you doing training for passive house building standards? What is the training programs that you're creating?
So the training is, we say training, it's just for people that want to understand passive house, but have a little taster of it without all the hard stuff being drilled into them to start with, and understanding that a lot of these builders, they're there to make money as well. And it's a bit of a dirty world in our world. They're there to make money. So we can say, well, look, you can do this. You can do passive house. You can do some of the standards. Let's do it bit by bit. Let's creep up one site, two sites, change the windows, change the installation, upgrade a little bit, and you can earn more money off these buildings, but you won't go bust doing it. That's a good way, and we've found that really opening the doors for us in the UK. We get people all around the UK come, just have someone tell them straight. We're not all tree huggers. That is a view that all passive house people are. A lot of us, like me, you, and got Mark Willie out there, we're just normal people just trying to do good for the world. And that's it, really.
Well, I do have to tell you, I am kind of a tree hugger. But I can totally relate. I can totally relate. I am all about Mother Earth, and all of those people out there probably don't know that, but that really is my heart. And it makes me happy that you're right. It's a business, and really we're trying to do better, and we're trying to make buildings a better place to live. And I think it's so important, and it's so admirable of you to do all these businesses, and then also to speak the language and to teach it is really phenomenal, because a lot of people wouldn't do that, Adam. And so I think it's great, and I'm excited about your journey to this next place. Tell me a little bit more about this training center that you're going to build. What are the cool things that you're going to put into it? Because I know you're going to put your mark on it.
I'll be giving away too much. It'll be the first passive house certified training facility. First R&D facility. We've got a solar farm going up the top as well, so we'll be completely off grid as well. Yeah, and it's just train as many builders as we can and make sure that they all know that even if it's a little bit of improvement, we're happy with them. I'm more proud of the builder that improves his building by 10% on 100 homes than Mr. and Mrs. Jones building £1 million dream home that gets in all the magazines and they wake up thinking they've got a cape round their necks. So again, not trying to offend anyone, but they're not my superheroes. The superheroes are them builders that do the 10% more, 20% more, because I know year on year, and we're working with them, they're building better. So the collective carbon positive stuff we're doing, they're the heroes. I love the self-builders, don't get me wrong. A lot of my work's for them, but they're not my heroes. The builders are.
Wow, I couldn't have said that better. And what a great way to close out the show. Now you get to meet our newest contributor, Adam White. And Adam is going to be here month after month, giving us his feedback, telling us his insights. And, it's all about high performance build, and he is doing it in so many different ways. Adam, I'm certainly excited about this being your first show, and I cannot wait for more conversations with you.
Thank you very much for having me. And I hope I don't offend too many people along the way. So be open-minded. You're
going to be great. And that's us on Offsite Dirt. I'm Audree Grubesic, your host. We look forward to the next high performance build with Adam. Have a great day, everyone.